From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.
On News Hour tonight, People's Democratic Party's National Working Committee reverses suspension of Fayose, Shema, Ayim, others. Supreme Court dismisses suit seeking disqualification of Tinubu and Atiku from presidential contest. Debt Management Office says Nigeria's debt profile has risen to 46.25 trillion naira. And on the foreign scene, Equatorial Guinea confirms 13 Marburg cases after World Health Organization's comments. Hello and welcome to News Hour on Trust TV. I am Sagir Ibrahim. Now the news in details. The National Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, has reversed the suspension of Ibrahim Shema, Ayo Fayose, Pius Ayim, Dennis Itiava, and Aslam Aliyu. The NWC also reversed the referral of the Governor of Benue State, Samuel Otom, to the National Disciplinary Committee. The PDP National Working Committee announced these in a statement by its spokesperson, Debo Ologunagba, on Thursday. The statement said the action of the National Working Committee of the party was taken after its meeting on Thursday, where members discussed recent developments in the party. The NWC, according to the statement, recognized the imperativeness of a total reconciliation among party leaders and critical stakeholders for a more cohesive party in the overall interest of members and Nigerians in general. It said the decision is without prejudice to the powers of the NWC to take necessary disciplinary action against any member of the party at any time, pursuant to the provisions of the Constitution of the PDP as amended in 2017. The party charged all leaders, stakeholders, and members across the country to be guided by the provisions of the PDP Constitution as amended in 2017, as well as the new spirit and necessity of reconciliation, unity, harmony, as well as others in the party. Also, the Benue State Working Committee of the People's Democratic Party has suspended the Kashi Philip-led Igioro Ward executive in Boko local government area of the state over the crisis that led to the suspension of the party's former national chairman, Yocha Ayu. The acting chairman of the PDP in Benue, Isaac Mfo, at a press briefing in Makurdi on Thursday, said the Igioro Ward executive is suspended for 1 month to allow for peace to be restored. He also said the State Working Committee will henceforth take charge of the political affairs of the party in Igioro Ward, where Ayu hails from.
State Working Committee deliberated on and reviewed the recent activities and matters of the administration of the affairs of the party in Igioro Council Ward, which have raised and aggravated tensions within the party in the area with possible threats of violence and breakdown of law and order. It is therefore the resolution of the State Working Committee that, pursuant to the powers conferred on it by Section 59, subsection 4 of the Constitution of the People's Democratic Party, as amended in 2017, and thus
The Code of Conduct Bureau, CCB, is set to commence investigation of the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party, PDP, in the February 25, 2023 presidential election, Atiku Abubakar, over alleged diversion of public funds whilst he was Vice President of Nigeria through special purpose vehicles. Earlier in the year, the Minister of State for Labour and Employment, Festus Keyamo, who was spokesman of the Presidential Campaign Council of the All Progressives Congress, filed a suit seeking that the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission arrest Atiku Abubakar, who was the presidential candidate of the People's Democratic Party at the just concluded polls. The Senior Advocate of Nigeria joined the Independent Corrupt Practices and Other Related Offences Commission, ICPC, and the Code of Conduct Bureau in the suit, which was filed after a 72-hour ultimatum he gave elapsed. Keyamo, in a letter dated January 16 and addressed to the chairman of the EFCC, ICPC and CCB said Atiku should be arrested and prosecuted for alleged offences against the Code of Conduct for public officers, money laundering, criminal breach of trust, and criminal misappropriation and conspiracy. Keyamo made the demand following the controversial videos released by Michael Achimugu, a former aide of Atiku. The videos released some weeks ago claimed that between 1999 and 2007, when Atiku was vice president, he colluded with ex-president Olusegun Obasanjo to fleece the country using what he termed special purpose vehicles. Keyamo asked a federal high court in Abuja to compel the anti-graft agencies to investigate the matter and prosecute Atiku. Also, the leadership of the Labour Party says it is not part of any insurrection plan. According to the party's spokesman, Yunusa Tanko, the party is not plotting any insurrection, describing the development as a conspiracy against the state. According to him, the Labour Party won't do anything against the laws of the country and will follow due process in addressing its grievances. The Department of State Services had on Wednesday raised an alarm over a plot to scuttle the democratic process and install an interim government. The agency's spokesman, Peter Afunaya, in a statement vowed that the secret police will use all arsenals at its disposal to frustrate such plot. The secret police, he added, had identified some key players in the plan. But in his reaction to the development, the LP spokesman accused the DSS and other security agencies of not protecting the interest of the Nigerian state during the 2023 elections, claiming some of the party's supporters were disenfranchised in parts of the country. And still in politics, political commentators have applauded the ongoing democratic transition in the country ahead of the May 29 handover date, just as they warned against subversive moves to truncate the existing democracy. Trust TV's Shafiu Suleiman reports that the political experts also underscored the imperative of collective efforts to guarantee the nation's political stability in the face of growing post-election tension in the country. Take a look.
Preparation for the May 29 handover ceremony to the newly elected governments at the national and subnational level is ongoing, with transition committees being set up to ensure a seamless exercise. Notwithstanding the litigations arising from the just concluded elections and concerns over attempt by certain undemocratic elements to undermine a peaceful transition.
One should expect that the same party is changing hands, so we do not expect serious challenges. Of course, there is no tradition as to the handing over in Nigeria.
I want to commend President Muhammadu Buhari for even inaugurating the transition committee before the elections.
Expectations are also high on incoming administrations to hit the ground running and turn around the country for the better, even as concerns are being expressed on the likely directions the newly elected leaders will go in tackling the myriads of challenges plaguing the nation.
I believe with his hindsight of experience as Lagos State Governor, he had used several technocrats, and that assisted him in ensuring a successful government. I expect technocrats, I will expect also politicians. We have politicians that are well experienced. They were technocrats before, and that they went into politics. I don't think they would have lost that experience.
While some losers of the 2023 cycle of elections approach the various tribunals to challenge the results, the political class have been told not to allow their inordinate ambitions to undermine the peace and stability of the country through undemocratic means.
Knowing full well that a court of competent jurisdiction have ruled way back in 1993, ousting Chief Ernest Shonekan, that the ING is unknown to Nigerian constitution.
Security agencies have their sources of information, and the sources of information are mostly credible. We commentators, we will not just interfere and make silly comments when we do not have the necessary information. I believe they are up to the task, and since they have the information, I believe they are taking all necessary measures to ensure that such things do not occur.
Shafiu Suleiman, Trust TV News, Abuja.
A former president of the Nigerian Bar Association, NBA, Olisa Agbakugba, SAN, has condemned the idea of installing an interim government in the country, saying there is no constitutional provision for an interim government. In a statement released by his senior media assistant, Niyi Odumorayo, in Lagos, Agbakugba said there will be a major setback if interim government is put in place, calling on all Nigerians to resist such idea. The lawyer said gravest consequences should be applied to those tinkering with the treasonable idea. Agbakugba is reacting to the recent claim by the Department of State Services, DSS, that some political gladiators are yearning for interim government in a bid to stall the installation of Bola Tinubu as president. Also, the Supreme Court on Thursday dismissed an appeal filed by former Minister of State for Education, Chukwuemeka Nwajuba, seeking to disqualify Bola Tinubu of the All Progressives Congress and Atiku Abubakar of the People's Democratic Party as presidential candidates of their political parties. The panel of justices on the matter held that the decision was based on the ground that it was statute barred. A five-man panel led by Justice Ian Okoro dismissed the suit and did not award cost against the former minister for withdrawing his case when informed that the case was filed outside the time prescribed by law. Nwajuba approached the court on the grounds that Bola Tinubu did not disclose the source of his 100 million naira with which he paid and obtained the nomination and expression of interest form in contravention of Section 90 sub 3 of the Electoral Act. He had asked the Supreme Court to cancel the processes that produced Tinubu and Atiku as candidates of their political parties. The former minister had lost at the Federal High Court and the Court of Appeal, both in Abuja, on the same grounds that his case lacked merit. And also, the Independent National Electoral Commission has presented certificates of return to Katsina State Governor-elect Malam Dikko Umar Rada, his deputy, and 31 members-elect of the State House of Assembly. The certificate presentation was held at the INEC headquarters in Katsina, with the outgoing governor Aminu Masari in attendance. Abdullahi Yamadi reports.
The certificate presentation attracted families and supporters of the elected officials. Few minutes after the certificate's presentation, the governor-elect Dikko Umar Rada assured residents of Katsina State that his administration will focus attention on security of lives and property. Rada equally stressed his commitment to strengthen agriculture and support for small and medium enterprises to reduce restiveness among the teeming youth of the state. He also speaks on the Katsina State Development Plan initiated by the Masari administration.
It's very clear. We are going to face insecurity in the country. We are going to force other focus areas that we have, including public service reform, education, health, social care, MSME and local economy, IGR and land reforms. These are the major focus of our administration. Agriculture is one of the cardinal things that we are going to face, God's willing. We are going to see how we are integrating that development plan into our strategic policy so that we can have a smooth running in the government.
The Katsina State Development Plan is a working document that outlined specific areas of development which include governance, economy, agriculture, health, education, as well as human capital development.
Yes, we have extended our hands of fellowship to all the opponents to come on decks and bring their ideas so that together we can build Katsina State of our dream.
Some Katsina residents here bear their minds on what they expect from the incoming administration.
We really expect many things from them. We expect them to address this issue of security. It is a major concern of the people here in Katsina State. And from what we have heard about the governor-elect and what we have heard during his campaign promises, we have the honest belief that he will do something, especially concerning this issue of insecurity that is negatively affecting the state.
My expectation is that they are going to make a new Katsina State, and there is going to be a new reforms in all aspects, considering the fact that professionals are invited to put their input and give their inputs on the way forward so that Katsina State will progress.
Winners of assembly seats in Kankia, Kankara and Kurifi, earlier declared inconclusive, will emerge April 15 when INEC conducts supplementary election. Abdullahi Ismail, Trust Television News, Katsina.
And in Sokoto State, the Governor-elect Ahmed Aliyu and Deputy Governor-elect Idris Mohammed Gobir on Thursday received their certificate of returns, calling on opposition parties to join them in rebuilding the state. All the 30 members-elect of the State House of Assembly also received their certificates of return at the INEC Coalition Center along Tangaza Road. The All Progressives Congress APC has 20 members, while the People's Democratic Party has 10 members. The governor-elect solicited for the support of the opposition parties to bring the state back on course. And in Borno State, Governor Umara Zulum has on Thursday received his certificate of return from INEC as the duly elected governor in the March 18 poll. The governor, while receiving the certificate along with other 28 elected State House of Assembly members at the Coalition Center, promised improved security, agriculture, ensure food security and job creation, among others, in his additional 4 years in office. He reiterated his commitment to focus on education, provide more quality health care, and empower women, as well as repatriate displaced indigents of Borno from neighboring countries of Chad, Niger, and Cameroon. He urged elected politicians from the national to state level to provide good governance for the people of Borno State.
We will not fail in our commitment to you, the people of Borno State, and inshallah, we will keep every promise met for the benefit of the good people of Borno State. We will not settle for just good when we can make things better. And clearly, our aim is to achieve the best. Within the last 4 years, we have done a lot in the areas of construction, in the areas of resettlement, in the areas of health, among others. Transport, we shall concentrate on service delivery, which is very key. We shall ensure that our hospitals are better equipped and better manned with capable human resources.
And in Lagos, INEC on Thursday presented certificate of return to the state governor-elect, deputy governor-elect, and members-elect of the State House of Assembly. The governor-elect enjoined all residents to be law-abiding citizens by paying taxes that will be used for the development of the state. Take a look.
The day is seen as a day of joy and happiness for Lagos State as the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC Resident Electoral Commissioner Olusegun Agbaje presents certificate of return to Governor-elect Babajide Olushola Sanwo-Olu, Deputy Governor-elect Obafemi Hamzat, Speaker of the State House of Assembly Mudashiru Ajayi Obasa, and all the members-elect of the House of Assembly at the INEC office in Yaba. The Governor-elect Babajide Sanwo-Olu said the youths should continue to hold them accountable as their leaders in the state.
You've seen a lot of communications around what we've been able to modestly accomplish over the last almost 4 years now, in line with our team's agenda. Now, as we take the work to a new level of performance, we will complete all our ongoing projects that we've started, and will ensure that new ones are funded, they are prioritized, and they will be delivered. This is our solemn promise to you all.
The resident electoral commissioner Olusegun Agbaje said the political class must change its do-or-die attitude to good conduct in politics, noting the culture of violence, malpractices, thuggery, vote buying and other forms of election vices must be done away with by political party leaders. The Speaker, Lagos State House of Assembly Mudashiru Obasa, speaks on the outcome of the 2023 elections and its aftermath.
Confirm that is going to perform very well, and we are sure that all the challenges facing Nigeria will be things of the past with him in office. We believe that he has the capability, he has the knowledge, and he has everything to deliver. So I have no doubt in my mind. It's just to assure Nigerians that the need for them to support the president-elect, to give him time. You know, Rome, as they say, It's not built in a day. So we are very absolute that it's going to deliver and it's going to serve people of Nigeria perfectly.
The journey towards success of the governorship and State House of Assembly election in Lagos State was not completely smooth, as some desperate politicians used a negative utterances which overheated the political environment unnecessarily.
Also, the Governorship, National and State House of Assembly Elections Petitions Tribunal, sitting in Bauchi on Thursday, granted permission to the governorship candidate of the All Progressives Congress, APC, Sadiq Abubakar, to inspect materials used by Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, for March 18, 2023 governorship election. The order followed an ex parte motion filed by his counsel, Rilwanu Jibrin. The plaintiff is seeking an order of manual and physical inspection of all materials used in the conduct of the governorship election in Bauchi and the printout of the complete duly accredited voters in Bauchi State governorship election uploaded to the INEC portal through Bimodal Voter Accreditation System, BVAS. The plaintiff also requested for the certified true copies of nomination form with affidavit support and academic qualifications of the PDP candidate in the last governorship elections in Bauchi State. Ruling on the motion, the chairman of the tribunal, Justice Flora Azingi, granted the request. Also, Vice President-elect Kashim Shettima has sought for guidance and support of the former military president Ibrahim Badamasi Babangida and former head of state General Abdulsalami Abubakar towards rebuilding Nigeria. Shettima is in Minna on Thursday for a separate meeting behind closed doors with the two former leaders. He said that the visit is to check on the two former Nigerian leaders to mark Ramadan fasting. Speaking to journalists, the vice president-elect said that the elder statesmen and stakeholders have a lot to offer to humanity and the nation, especially on issues that affect the nation. Senator Kashim Shettima also visited the Niger State Governor Abubakar Sani Bello, where he said challenges facing the state will be adequately addressed. And also, officers of the Nigeria Police have dispersed a protest by members of Islamic movement in Nigeria, otherwise known as Shiites, demanding a lift of travel ban placed on their leader, Sheikh Ibrahim El-Zakzaki, and wife, Zina. A federal high court in Abuja earlier on Thursday had rejected an application filed by Sheikh El-Zakzaki asking the Department of State Services to release his passport and that of his wife. Delivering the judgment, Justice Obiora Egwatu ruled that the Islamic cleric failed to prove that his passport was missing, despite the 10 exhibits provided by his lawyers to prove that the DSS took the passports away after his return from India in 2018. And also, the Debt Management Office, DMO, has stated that Nigeria's debt profile is 46.25 trillion naira, or 103.1 billion, as at December 31st last year. In a statement on Thursday, DMO said there was an increase of over 7 trillion from what the country owed in 2021. The statement said total public debt stock consisting of the domestic and external debt stock of the federal government of Nigeria and the 36 state governments was 46.25 trillion, or $103.1 billion. The comparative figure for December 31st, 2021 is 39.5 trillion naira, or $95.77 billion. The DMO said total domestic debt stock was 27.55 trillion naira, while total external debt stock was 18.7 trillion naira. It stated that the reasons for the increase in the total public debt stock were new borrowings by the federal government and state governments, primarily to fund budget deficits and execute projects. It, however, said the ongoing efforts by the government to increase revenues from oil and non-oil sources through initiatives such as the Finance Act and the Strategic Revenue Mobilization Initiative are expected to support debt sustainability. You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Still to come. Why 76-year-old retiree insists on riding bicycle? Do stay with us. efforts to support Africa's goal of strengthening.
Now, looking at the activity chart, as you can see right here, total volume of 130.
Created a Boko Haram crisis that at that time was restricted to Yobe.
How secured are they? You can see security men with blood.
This is the road leading up to the
Already, if you look at England squad, you are looking at EPL, you are looking at their names. You are not looking at
Welcome back. If you're just joining, you're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Now, recap of our top stories. People's Democratic Party National Working Committee reverses suspension of Fayose, Shema, Ayim, others. Supreme Court dismisses suit seeking disqualification of Tinubu and Atiku from presidential contest. Moving on to other stories, the Chief of Defense Staff has assured that the military will soon celebrate the final victory against Boko Haram and ISWAP terrorists in the northeast region. The defense chief gave the assurance during an operational visit to the Mai Malari Theater Commander of Operation Hadinkai. General Lucky Irabo said the military is strategizing on the final phase of its offensive operations to completely annihilate the terrorists. He applauded the troops for the recent successes recorded in the war theater and charged them to maintain the tempo of the onslaught.
Commander-in-Chief is happy with you, and he has asked me to relate to you to keep up the standard and the momentum that you are displaying right here in the Northeast operation. I know that your commanders are putting final touches to operational plans, which they have also made known to you, which we believe should see the end of everything that has to do with the vestiges of Boko Haram, ISWAP here in the Northeast. You must ensure that all the criminals, wherever they are hiding, you go to smoke them out from those foxes.
Also, the Controller General of the Federal Fire Service, Olola Jaji, has vowed to put an end to incidents of fire disasters in Maiduguri. The fire controller stated this during a damage assessment visit in Borno State and to condole with victims of the recent incidents of Gamboru and Maiduguri Monday markets. Jaji said he has directed his men to embark on massive fire prevention campaigns across the state to enlighten traders and shop owners on the dangers of fire. He lauded the state government for responding swiftly when the inferno occurred and appealed to the Borno government to establish fire stations across major markets in the state.
This kind of inferno is preventable. It's actually preventable if we take precaution, on simple instruction to follow. But as a result of that, maybe carelessness or any other thing may happen, which I believe that my officers will be able to give the adequate reports.
We are doing our own. We are doing our best. Indeed, like even this afternoon, we carried out a small sensitization exercise with those affected by the fire at the Gamboru market, that they should form and constitute themselves into a firefighting marshal within the market. And then the fire service will be coming from time to time to give them some bit of advice on prevention and control of fire before it gets out of service.
What happened in here, in the Monday market, we know that it is just a mere temporary eclipse. And we know that the sun of the market will rise also again. They have helped us immensely at the time of the occurrence of the fire incident. Despite the congestion of the market, they have tried their possible best to see that this fire has to be extinguished. But unfortunately, due to the divine say that it has escalated. So we really appreciate. And what the controller has said earlier, that he said that even the fire service are coming to the market. Toward on my assumption, they used to come to create awareness. They used to even share some pamphlets to the traders.
Also, climate change advocates have recommended tree planting as one of the simplest and most effective ways of tackling dangers of greenhouse gas emission to make the environment safe and friendly. The advocates gave the hint as they went on a national school planting program across all secondary schools in the country, starting from the Federal Capital Territory, Abuja. Noel Sampson has more.
Since the 1800s, human activities have been the main driver of climate change, primarily due to the burning of fossil fuels like coal, oil, and gas, which produces heat-trapping gases. Felling of trees for firewood contribute to this problem, hence the importance of tree planting campaign.
You know, the effects of climate change have been very negative on especially sub-Saharan Africa. And so it's our goal at NICRA to take the initiative and reclaim our environment. And the easiest way to do this, as our ED has said, is to plant trees. So we are going to plant trees across schools nationwide, starting with the FCT.
Well, the importance of this event is basically to show the students of this school that when you plant a tree, you're actually saving a future. You can see all of them are out there and they are very happy. And about 6 trees have been planted today. What that means is that a future is assured. With these trees, we are fighting against climate change and we are sustaining the environment.
The climate change advocates call on younger ones to be part of the campaign to ensure a safe and conducive environment for all, as tree planting will bring about the reduction in the risks of oversaturation and flooding.
You hear about carbon emission and the rest. The impact of trees around in the environment will help to reduce carbon in the atmosphere. And you know, impact of carbon when it comes to ozone layer, the depletion of ozone layer, the release of carbon into the atmosphere basically eats into the ozone layer, and that's why we have direct radiation of the sun.
Simply enough, we have cases of high carbon emissions already from the urbanization. We have so many cars on the road. So without tree planting and trees to absorb most of the carbon dioxide being released into the atmosphere, we have people inhaling more carbon dioxide. We start having environmental caused health problems like lung, asthma, and a lot of other airway diseases.
As from tomorrow, I've started telling my teachers, as from they will start watering this plant. I will not allow, they should not allow any plant to dry. Maybe we'll look for more plants to come and plant again. We are very happy with this tree planting.
They said planting more trees will contribute to global reforestation efforts, restoring lost forests, repairing damaged ecosystems, and mitigating climate changes. Noel Sampson, Trust TV News, Abuja.
A Bauchi-based septuagenarian and entomologist, Dr. Sani Waziri, has told Trust TV why he chose the humble path of using a bicycle for his daily shuttles, despite having access to a better life. The 76-year-old, who resides at Ungwan Malam Goje within the Bauchi metropolis, attributes his decision partly to the leadership challenges in the country. Adamu Imam has more.
Dr. Sani Waziri, a human rights fighter and agricultural scientist, agreed to maintain a simple life in his local neighborhood despite serving the country for over 3 decades and retiring as a director in the Federal Ministry of Agriculture. He faulted the way and manner the country is being governed, explaining that unless Nigeria is changed for the better, things might get worse for Nigerians.
At that time, the civil service, they enjoy every benefits. But now, even the salary is not paid according to the schedule. Your emolument is not being paid. That is pension and other things, like gratuity and so on, is not paid. So the retirees, the civil servant, they are undergraduates.
According to Dr. Waziri, he has 4 wives and 12 children that can take care of him, but says the pitiful nature of the lives of average Nigerians caused by bad governance had made him decide to remain humble.
Corrupt country. If you are not a bourgeois, you are not playing boy, they will still say you are poor. Even if today I say I don't want my gratuity, my everything, my children can feed me and clothe me, and they can buy me a car, either Mercedes, any car I want. One of my children will buy for me.
While noting that he spent over 10 years without a headache, regardless of his age, Dr. Waziri emphasized that riding bicycle is the secret of his good health.
Ride keke is simpler, it will give you health. If you continue riding keke, I think you will not be sick, except Mura and so on. But really sick, never.
Waziri advises Nigerians to always render selfless services and focus on issues that will uplift Nigerians and Nigeria as a whole. Adami Imam, Trust TV News, Bauchi.
Thanks to Adamu Imam for that report. Also, the National Drug Law Enforcement Agency, NDLEA, has arrested a housewife, Rabi Musa, and a husband to her younger sister in possession of a 4 kilogram of cannabis in Katsina. The commandant of the agency in the state, Mohammed Bashir, said this while briefing journalists on their statewide anti-drug war within the last 3 months. Abdullahi Ahmadi has details.
God knows I was conscripted into this issue because when they brought the cannabis sativa, I resisted, but later I joined them in selling it to get commission out of the proceeds. Now I realize my mistakes and I promise never to indulge in anything like this again.
Worried about women involvement in drugs-related offenses, the NDLEA boss in Katsina advised parents to carefully scrutinize anyone seeking the hands of their daughters in marriages.
As we speak now, both Rabi Musa and Suleiman are facing prosecution. The case has already been filed to charge to court, and probably they will be arraigned any moment from now. Our take here is parents should be aware of the kind of husbands or in-laws, prospective in-laws that they give their daughters to.
The command has also arrested 3 suspects in connection with a stolen vehicle intercepted in Katsina Metro Police.
Further investigation actually reveals some documents we found inside the vehicle revealed actually the owner of the vehicle. So we actually tried to get in touch with them, and we found that the case has already been reported to the police in Jos, and they're actually working on it. So we are running out our own preliminary investigation now. By end of today, probably tomorrow, we'll be able to, with the case file and our investigation, be able to hand over to the police.
The suspects, identified as Nasiru Shehu, Awal Abdullahi and Felix Ajayi, confessed to have stolen the vehicle from Jos in Plateau State, heading to the neighboring Niger Republic. Both of us here are mechanic, panel beater, and an electrician. We conspired to steal this vehicle only to get what to eat, in addition to devil's influence. This is the first and the last time, I promise. The command had intercepted another stolen vehicle along Katsina Molonfashi Road 2 months ago and found some ammunition in the process. while the suspects were handed over to the police for further investigation and prosecution. NDLEA urges parents to take full responsibility of their children to avoid falling victims of drug dealers. Abdullahi Ismail Ahmadi, Trust Television News, Katsina.
Also, the Lagos State government has arraigned Chrisland School Limited and some of its staff members over the death of a 12-year-old student, Whitney Omodeshola Adeniran, who died during the school's inter-house sport on the 9th of February 2023. They were all arraigned on Thursday before Justice Oyindamola Ogala of the Lagos High Court, Ikeja, on a 2-count charge of involuntary manslaughter and acting in a reckless and negligent manner that endangered her life. The affected staff are the principal, Belinda Amau, the vice principal, Nwatu Victoria, a teacher in the school, Kuku Fatai, and a vendor at the Agege Stadium, Ademoye Adewale. The Attorney General and Commissioner of Justice, Lagos, Moyoshore Onigbanjo, SAN, who led the prosecution on behalf of the state government, told the court that the state had filed 2 counts against the defendants. He asked the court to allow them to take their plea. When the counts were read to the defendants, they all pleaded not guilty. The defense team, on its part, informed the court that they had pending applications seeking the bail of all the defendants. Away from that, traders and business owners have been told to fear Allah and not increase prices as Muslim faithfuls continue to observe the Ramadan fast. Zainab Karai, who visits markets in Abuja, reports that prices of goods are still high even where special discounts is offered. Take a look.
Faithful during the month of Ramadan abstain from eating and drinking from sunrise to sunset. Traders take advantage of the special months to sell goods at relatively higher prices, owing to increased demand during the month. This mini market at the National Mosque in Abuja, where varieties of items are sold, records patronage during the month Ramadan, but customers are quick to counsel traders not to exploit the situation but should make their goods affordable instead.
Some items that, we sat with our people and I think we should just bring the prices down. And there are some that no matter how you try, you have to keep up. You have to just maintain how the price is because of the situation of the country and how the naira and everything here. We buy everything in foreign currencies. So no matter what, you have to adjust it.
Aside Ramadan, every Muslim, every trader should always consider one thing: the plight of others. We should take it as paramount. So for us to be in the holy month of Ramadan, we should be considerate and know that the masses are not as buoyant as they used to be. So whatever you want to sell, sell for Allah's sake and not for profit. If you are destined to make money and if you are destined to make profit, you will definitely make it.
Goods sellers in the Federal Capital Territory also attributed the high prices of goods to the rise in foreign exchange, adding that importing most of the goods is dependent on dollar rates at parallel market.
Prices this time around is higher. So, normally because of exchange issue, some of the products we bring here, we are importing it. Some from are locally made. So from the imported ones, we experience exchange rates. So definitely the price is different. This year's price is higher.
This inflation of prices from the source is not from we that do wholesale or retails, from the source. So when the source see that we that are retails or wholesale, we come to them much more, we demand more. So they inflate their price too. So at least we that are selling to, it's Ramadan, we try to moderate the price no matter what.
The price is lower now in pertaining dates, but for perfumes actually they have increased. Because perfumes now, the one that we normally used to sell like 5,000, now they are up to 8,000, 9,000, some even up to 10,000.
Month of Ramadan is the 9th in Islamic calendar, and it is usually time for spiritual dedication and sober reflections on the welfare of the ordinary man. Residents called on government and goods sellers to be God-fearing, especially at this very point in time. Zainab Karai, Trust TV News, Abuja.
Thanks to Zainab for that report. Also, the House of Representatives has assured an enabling environment that will promote effective tax administration in the country. Leader of the House of Representatives, Alhassan Ado Doguwa, stated this during a legislative interface with the Chartered Institute of Taxation of Nigeria at the National Assembly, Abuja. The majority leader said bills are always being reviewed with the aim of getting them perfected, assuring that the House will look at the context of the current law with a view to allowing the Institute to perform optimally. Earlier, the legal advisor of the Institute, while commending the House of Representatives to amend the CITN bill, wants the Green Chamber to look at some areas of the amendments which may directly affect the processes and procedures of tax practices in Nigeria.
We have no problem with the amendments, but we have some specific issues that we have made earlier presented to you on issues that affect tax profession in Nigeria. It is being regulated by a professional body, and the only body that Indian law made by this Honorable Assembly to regulate this practice is the Chartered Institute of Taxation Act.
All you or all Nigerians are duty to ensure that we perfect the enabling environment that you are supposed to apply on. We also look at the legislation that governs your operation and provide whatever you guys need to be able to compete with people of your own caliber in other countries, developed or developing countries. So doing this will definitely amount to what we can call a statutory responsibility. It's our duty, it's our civic duty, it's our parliamentary duty, it's our legislative responsibility to ensure that laws that allow the operations of your professional body are made in such a way that you are not subjected under any let or hindrance.
Also, the Federal Executive Council is set to provide internet services in 20 selected airports, 43 higher institutions of learning and 6 markets in Nigeria to support micro, small and medium enterprises. Minister of Communications and Digital Economy, Issa Pantami, revealed government's plan on Wednesday while briefing newsmen at State House, Abuja. The cabinet also approved the construction of a 41.7472 million naira Center of Excellence for Environmental Restoration at Bori in Kana local government area of Rivers State. Kendi Amudu reports.
The rather expansive projects to provide internet services to 63 facilities will cost about 18.95 billion naira. Captured under these are 20 selected domestic and international airports, 3 in each geopolitical zone, and 43 higher institutions of learning at federal and state levels.
The federal government of Nigeria will provide broadband for free for passengers that are coming through the airports. And particularly in Abuja, sometimes you will discover, you will learn, and there is no any internet for free to even allow you to communicate. So we have set our team in order. We have developed the sustainability model so that even after the deployment, the maintenance will be very effective.
There's also the provision in another contract for the provision of broadband to 6 markets and 6 higher institutions of learning at a sum of 5.25 billion naira.
For markets is to support innovation-driven enterprises that is being championed by the Massachusetts Institute of Technology, where we try to give global visibility to our innovators, to our micro, small, and medium enterprises, so that their market is not going to be narrowed and restricted only to our local communities. So beside the internet, we have been giving them domain name for free and also supporting them to establish websites so that they will be able to have global visibility. And also it will support Nigeria even in the process of transition to cashless policy. When internet is free and is effective in our markets, that will support online activities, online payment, among many others.
Meanwhile, the Center of Excellence for Environmental Restoration at Bori River State, approved by the Cabinet, is expected to be completed within a period of 24 months.
The center is to facilitate efficient and cost-effective approach to contamination management and environmental restoration. providing trainings and courses on remediation and skills on contamination technology, etc.
Also on Wednesday, the Council of Ministers approved the construction of the Ogoni Specialist Hospital in the sum of 18.3 billion naira, in line with components recommended by the report of the United Nations Environmental Programme, UNEP. The 100-bed medical facility is expected to be delivered in 24 months. From State House, Abuja, Kehinde Amudu, Trust TV News.
You're watching News Hour on Trust TV. Let's now join Chiamaka Nwafo for business news.
United States Vice President Kamala Harris announced plans to boost trade with and invest in Tanzania during a visit there on Thursday as part of an Africa tour aimed at strengthening ties with the continent where the influence of China and Russia is on the rise. The tour began on Sunday in Ghana before she flew later on Wednesday to Tanzania's commercial capital, Dar es Salaam, where she met President Samia Suluhu Hassan on Thursday. The two women gave short statements to the media before going into longer session of private talks. They include a new memorandum of understanding between the Export-Import Bank of the United States and the government of Tanzania that will facilitate up to $500 million in financing to help U.S. companies export goods and services to Tanzania in sectors including infrastructure, transportation, digital technology, climate and energy, security, and power generation. The S&P 500 rose Thursday as investors bet the worst of the regional bank crisis has passed. The S&P 500 rose 0.4% to its highest since March 7th, bringing its gain from the benchmark's March low during the height of bank fears to about 6%. The Nasdaq Composite advanced 0.6% as tech stocks continue to see renewed investor interest. The Dow Jones Industrial Average traded slightly higher by about 82 points. The CBO Volatility Index, Wall Street's preferred measure of how turbulent the S&P 500 will be over the next 30 days, has pulled back to the 19 level after reaching 30 in the middle of March. Wall Street's fear gauge is back to where it was when the month began. And finally, in Nigerian stocks, on Thursday, it extended the bullish trend as the all-share index grew by 1.51% to close at 54,413.21 points. Market capitalization appreciated by 1.51% to close at 29.642 trillion naira, thereby adding 441 billion naira. The market broke closed positive as 23 equities emerged as gainers against 10 equities that declined in their share prices. An aggregate of 973.6 million units of shares was traded in 3,718 deals valued at 4 billion naira. And that's it on Business News. I am Chiamaka Nwafo.
Thanks to Chiamaka for business news. And on the foreign scene, Equatorial Guinea has confirmed 13 cases of Marburg disease since the beginning of the epidemic, its health officials said on Wednesday, after the head of the World Health Organization (WHO) urged the Central African country's government to report new cases officially. 9 people have died, while 1 patient has recovered since the beginning of the epidemic, Equatorial Guinea's health ministry said on Twitter, adding that 825 contacts have since been traced. The country confirmed its first ever outbreak of the disease in February, according to WHO, which last week had reported 9 laboratory confirmed cases and put the total number of deaths and probable cases at 20 each. There is also an outbreak of Marburg virus in Tanzania, where 8 cases, including 5 deaths, have been reported in the northwest Kagera region, the WHO said. WHO said it was working with local authorities and vaccine manufacturers to set up trials in the affected countries. And that's it for the foreign scenes. We will now join Adeni Ajishafe for sports news.
The Solid Miners of Nasarawa on matchday 11 marched on from their slim 0-1 away loss to Remo Stars FC on matchday 10 to force a 1-1 draw against 8-time Nigerian Premier Football League champions Enyimba FC at the Enyimba International Stadium Aba on Wednesday. The midweek tie saw the Aba Elephants heading to the break, leading 1-0 after Chukwemeka Obioma converted from the spot in the 12th minute. Nasarawa United drew parity in the 76th minute through substitute Emmanuel Ogbole from a defense-splitting pass from Chidera Nduka, his second league goal of the current campaign. Lafia Bay side were unable to convert other chances to add to their tally. The draw is their second on the road this season. Nasarawa United will return home to host Baton Place El Kanemi Warriors of Maiduguri on Saturday, 1st April 2023, in a must-win clash as they continue with their battle against the drop zone. Niger Tornadoes on Wednesday continued their fine run of form as they defeated visiting Wiki Tourist FC of Bauchi in the MPFL Matchday 11 encounter at Ahmadu Bello Stadium, Kaduna. 2 goals in each half from Tornadoes top scorer David Okoromi and newly signed McDaniel were enough to hand the Ikon Ala boys a back-to-back victory and send Wiki Tourist to another defeat. The deadlock was broken in the 21st minute when Jonas Emmanuel controlled the ball, turned and located David Okoromi, who capitalized on his pace and dribbling skills to beat defenders from close range for his 5th goal of the season. Muniru Idris was introduced in the second half by Niger Tornadoes to add more strength to the team with more push for another goal. The pressure, however, paid off when McDaniel fired a shot from long distance into the net, beating goalkeeper Yusuf Mohammed for his first goal in Tornadoes jersey to seal a win for the hosts. Tornadoes have now gone 4 matches unbeaten since their matchday 7th defeat at Sunshine and placed 4th position on the log with 18 points, one behind joint leaders Rivers United and Lobby Stars, who both have equal points with 3rd place Abia Warriors. That's Sport News. I'm Adeniyi Ajishafe.
And with that, we've come to the end of Trust TV News Hour. Do well to follow us across all our media platforms. I'm Sagir Ibrahim. On behalf of the crew, good night.
From the Daily Trust News Center, this is the News Hour.